What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated, welterweight, rising superstar, title contender. Undefeated, 27 wins, no losses, no draws, 25 wins by way of knockout. Jaron Ennis, superstar boxer. 23 years of age, stands at 5'10" with a 74-inch arm reach. Last time we saw him in the ring was April 10th of this year when he took on and defeated Sergey Lipinets in dramatic fashion, knocking out Sergey Lipinets. With that said, Jaron Ennis continues to be avoided by the welterweight division, especially the welterweight title contending division, okay? Because we know at the top of the division, you have a few champions, two of which are going to face off against each other, and that's unified WBC IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer who is widely considered to be top 3 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. That's Errol the True Spence Jr. He'll be facing legendary, iconic Filipino superstar boxer who is a legend, an icon in Manny Pacquiao, who is the WBA welterweight super champion. And we know the other champion is undefeated 3-division world champion, who is the former junior welterweight undisputed world champion and currently the WBO welterweight world champion, widely considered by many to be #1 pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, and Terence Crawford. So there's 3 champions at the top, and we're going to have Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao face off against one another August 21st. With that said, the rest of the welterweight division that are contending for a title are simply, so you have that second tier fighters that are contending for titles, some of which are former world champions, such as former unified WBC, WBA welterweight world champion, superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman, and currently the WBA regular champion, Cuban star boxer Yordenis Ugas. Well, they both were offered the opportunity to fight Jaron Ennis on the undercard of Manny Pacquiao Errol Spence fight August 21st. Now we know because Manny Pacquiao was placed as champion in recess. Okay, he was placed as champion in recess due to inactivity, and they elevated Cuban star boxer Yordenis Ugas, who was the regular champion and super champion. But since Yordenis Ugas has yet to defend the title, they reinstated Manny Pacquiao for this fight with Errol Spence. And now they offered compensation for Yordenis Ugas as the co-main event to this fight. He doesn't have an opponent. So with that said, he was offered to face off against Jaron Ennis as the co-main event. Would be a huge fight, okay? It would be a huge step-up fight for Jaron Ennis, and it would be a huge, notoriety fight for Yordenis Ugas. Yordenis Ugas, who he faced off against Showtime Shawn Porter, 2-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer, and he lost that fight. It was defense for Shawn Porter, Shawn Porter's WBC title. Many people thought that Shawn Porter won the fight. Nonetheless, many people thought Yordenis Ugas won the fight. Nonetheless, Shawn Porter got the nod, then went into a huge unification bout with Errol Spence. With that said, there's not too many big opportunities for Yordenis Ugas. Now he's going to be, I'm sure, compensated as far as revenue heavy due to the fact that they compensate him for removing him placing him as the champion and remove him. And according to my reports, also Keith Thurman was offered the opportunity to face off against Jaron Ennis, and he informed Jaron Ennis and team and everybody involved, all parties involved, that somewhere down the line, he'll give Jaron Ennis the opportunity, but not right now. So Yordenis Ugas is going to see Jaron Ennis on this undercard. This could be a huge co-main event, but instead, they informed that they're not interested in facing Jaron Ennis. They want to face Jamal James instead, okay? Or maybe they're looking to fight another opponent. So I talked to Bozy Ennis, father, trainer, and manager of Jaron Ennis, And he stated they're not looking to face off against guys like Custio Clayton. Now, obviously, if they don't have a choice, if the big names are not willing to give them an opportunity, well, they got to stay active. So it's Jaron Ennis is going to be on the undercard of Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao, regardless of who he faces. But it just made sense to face Yordenis Ugas, okay? Yordenis Ugas, he's seeking a big victory. He's seeking a big name on his resume. Now, the biggest win in his career, one can argue, is the win against Omar Figueroa, okay? He doesn't have a big win. He had a great showing against Shawn Porter, but that's it. He doesn't have a big signature win on his resume. This is the opportunity. Yordenis Ugas, 26 wins, 4 losses, 12 wins by way of knockout. He is 34 years of age, stands at 5'9" with a 69-inch arm reach. He's scheduled, as I stated, to fight on the undercard as the co-main event, but it's TBE, to opponent to be named, okay? The biggest win, maybe Omar Figueroa, maybe Mike Dallas Jr., Ray Robinson, some can argue, Thomas Delorme, but he doesn't have that big major signature win in his career, okay? And Keith Thurman, in activity, is catching up to him. Keith Thurman is seeking the opportunity to face and fight for a world title, but it's looking like Keith Thurman could possibly go into a rematch with Shawn Porter in the fall. But Keith Thurman has been on the shelf since Manny Pacquiao fight of July 2019. It would make sense for Keith Thurman to fight possibly on this card. I don't know if that's possible for Keith Thurman to fight on the undercard against Jaron Ennis. Maybe they would have to remove Jaron Ennis and that be its own card, okay? But nonetheless, this is a opportunity for all parties involved, and they're not stepping up to the plate. And when we say that guys like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather, who's 44 years old, retired, coming back doing exhibition bouts against YouTubers and still doing 1 million pay-per-view buys, is hurting the sport of boxing. No, this is what's hurting the sport of boxing. We're not getting the best, fighting the best. There's no way Yordenis Ugas should be turning down the opportunity to fight Jaron Ennis. Because even if he is promised the winner of Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence, well, that's highly unlikely that the winner of this fight is going to face Yordenis Ugas in the next fight. Why? Because Errol Spence beats Manny Pacquiao. The biggest fight in the sport of boxing currently today is Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. So that means he already stated that he wants to face off against Terence Crawford should he beat Manny Pacquiao, and he's already informed his advisor, PBC founder, Premier Boxing Champion, Al Heyman, that that's the fight he wants to make happen next. Or he's going to exit the division and head north to 154. So he'll be fighting for a vacant belt. Again, if he's fighting for a vacant belt, is that going to be a big name that he's fighting for the vacant belt? Or is it going to be a B-level fighter that he's facing off against for the vacant belt because he's already the WBA regular champion? Keith Thurman, a rematch with Shawn Porter, exciting fight. But guess what? Keith Thurman versus a young, hungry lion like Jaron Boots Ennis is a bigger, better quality fight for Keith Thurman because it shows that his hunger is back. Okay? Yes, he fought Shawn Porter. He beat Shawn Porter. It was a very, very close fight. He got the nod in the fight. It was a very hard-fought fight. Keith Thurman, 29 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 22 wins by way of knockout. He is 32 years of age, stands at 5'7" with a 69-inch arm reach. When he fought Shawn Porter, that was 2016. That was 5 years ago. He got a unanimous decision victory. That was 5 years ago. Okay, so now they're going to do it again in the fall. But it would be more exciting to see Keith Thurman in there with a young, hungry, upcoming lion like Jaron Boots Ennis, and to show that he still has that hunger, opposed to revisiting a fight that we already saw play out. And we know when I talked to Shawn Porter and he was on the show, he says absolutely not. He has no interest in fighting Jaron Ennis. So they're not giving him his opportunity. This is the politics of the sport of boxing. that hurts the sport of boxing in itself. It has nothing to do with the YouTubers, the exhibition bouts, the UFC fighters coming in the sport of boxing. These types of situations, these types of scenarios leave the door open for Floyd Mayweather to come back at 44 years of age and do 1 million pay-per-view buys. This leaves the door open for that. Keith Thurman has been inactive for over 2 years. Manny Pacquiao is going to fight before Keith Thurman. He's going to fight in August. And he's older than Keith Thurman. Okay? Shawn Porter is in position to fight for a mandatory position. So I understand Shawn Porter not wanting to remove himself. But these are the fights that need to take place. Yordenis Ugas needs not to be sitting on the shelf looking for the path of least resistance to be able to claim that he's a world champion. We need the best to fight the best in the sport of boxing. So let's see how everything unfolds and plays out. Drop a comment in the comment section. Make sure you hit the like button. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
This is Amanda, the real deal Serrano, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.